election unlike any other. Tonight, the race to the White House.
President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden square off for the title of Commander-in-Chief. But this campaign season has been surrounded by unexpected obstacles.
A pandemic, a fight for racial justice, and division among the American people.
Tonight, we're breaking down the impact of this election, from local races to state seats to Washington, D.C. Your voice, your vote.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 10.
Good evening and happy election night. I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Math. Thanks for sticking with us tonight as we continue our Campaign 2020 coverage. As numbers trickle in for the presidential election, another race we are watching very closely is Minnesota's 8th congressional district, where incumbent Republican Pete Stauber is going head-to-head with Democratic challenger Quinn Nystrom.
Here's a quick look at where the numbers stand at this point. Again, polls closed at 8 p.m. Right now, we're seeing Pete Stauber at 52%, Quinn Nystrom at 43%, and Judith Schwartzbacher at 6%. We have team coverage for you on the 8th District tonight. CBS3's Jesse Slater is standing by in the newsroom for the latest from Stauber's campaign. But first, let's go to John Cardinelli, who joins us live from Quinn Nystrom's campaign watch party in Baxter, Minnesota. John, how's it going?
Kristen, Tony, I'm at the Arrowwood Lodge in Baxter at Quinn Nystrom's watch party, and of course tonight, given the pandemic, a much different watch party than it would be if we didn't have this pandemic going on. And everyone here was given a temperature check. There's about 20 people, everyone required to wear masks as well. And now I'm joined here with Quinn Nystrom. Quinn, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. My first question for you tonight is, as we know, affordable health care and affordable medicine is really important to your platform. Why is that important for northern Minnesotans, especially during this pandemic, and what will you do to achieve that if elected?
Well, specifically here in northern Minnesota, what we've seen is so many people who, because of skyrocketing costs of life-saving medications, they relied actually on crossing the border to Canada to get that. And now, because of the pandemic, that is closed. And so people are in desperate need to have access. And to me, we should not be living in the most prosperous country in the world and be having that big of an issue where people are reliant on foreign countries. And so we need to be able to elect leaders to Congress who can pass legislation to fix this.
And Quinn, there's a notion that some DFL voters on the Iron Range feel they've been left behind by the party, which some say is why they went and voted for Stauber in 2018. If elected, what are you going to do to make sure those voters feel represented?
You know, it's part of my family, the mining culture. My father-in-law worked at HIBTAC for over 3 decades. I'm proud to be endorsed by the steelworkers. My sister-in-law worked in the mines. I know that that is what put the food on the table, you know, for so many years. So I want to make sure that our taconite miners are back up and running. We know that about 50% were laid off because of this pandemic, and I will fight for them every step of the way so we can get those mines back and fully functioning.
Definitely. Quinn Nystrom, thank you very much for your time, and we'll continue to keep you updated on the 8th congressional race. For now, back to you.
John Cardinelli in Baxter, Minnesota for us tonight on a patio of all things. Thanks, John.
Now let's go to Jesse Slater in the newsroom to tell us more about incumbent Pete Stauber's campaign and where he stands in a contentious race. Jesse, what do you know so far?
Well, Tony, we have not heard anything from Representative Pete Stauber's campaign so far today. He just finished what he calls a power play tour, visiting all 18 counties within the 8th District. Stauber began that tour on Friday and then wrapped up Monday as a final push to get his message out to voters ahead of today. Now, Stauber has held the 8th District seat since 2018 when he defeated his Democratic opponent, Joe Radinovich, by less than 5 points. The district historically has voted Democrat until the 2016 election, when President Trump won by 16 points. Now, the congressman has been running his campaign touting American jobs, mining, and strengthening the economy. Stauber is hosting a small private gathering tonight. Yesterday, his campaign cited indoor restrictions due to the pandemic for the scale back of the gathering, and also media is not invited. So again, we have not heard anything yet from the Stauber campaign, but he did tell us he will eventually do a virtual interview with us, but they say he will not be available until after the race is called.
I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear from the incumbent on election night. Jesse Slater live for us in the newsroom tonight. Thanks, Jesse.
After going head-to-head in a special election to fill Sean Duffy's former U.S. House seat in May, Representative Tom Tiffany is leading his Democratic challenger, Tricia Zunker. Here's a quick look at where those numbers out of Wisconsin stand tonight. Tom Tiffany leading with 61%, Tricia Zunker holding a 39% at this point. Now, back in May, Tiffany defeated Zunker with 57% of the vote. Tonight, both held virtual watch parties following the polls closing in Wisconsin. Zunker was looking to become the first Native American woman elected to Congress from Wisconsin. She is a judge for the Ho-Chunk Nation and the president of the Wausau School Board. She says she's proud of how she's run her campaign.
I gave this 150%, and my staff worked hard, and we had so many amazing volunteers, and I know that I can look back and say we left it all out on the field.
Tiffany also held a virtual watch party tonight. He is a businessman and former Wisconsin state representative since 2011. He's hoping May's results will work to his advantage tonight.
We've seen what we believe is very high turnout in rural Wisconsin, and I think that's really good for Republicans. So we're hoping that's the results that we're going to get.
The winner will represent Douglas, Ashland, Bayfield, Sawyer, and Moore counties in central Wisconsin in the United States House of Representatives.
Back in Minnesota, which has the nation's only divided state government, all legislative seats are up on the ballot tonight.
Let's now go to CBS 3's Emma Quinn, who is in the newsroom with more on what this could mean for control of the state House and Senate. Emma.
Krista and Tony, whoever is elected into the state House and Senate tonight could have a huge impact on who gains control of the legislature in future elections. As this year is a census year, that means redistricting will occur. Currently, whoever is elected into the state House and Senate tonight could have a huge impact on who gains control of the legislature in future elections. And currently, Republicans have control over the state by 3 seats, and the DFL holds control of the state by 16 seats. Now, we spoke with Governor Tim Walz earlier this evening. He said he's willing to work with both parties, but since the pandemic, it has been a challenge.
Always willing to work with everyone, but I really do think our partisanship has really stalled to a point where we have to be able to see past some of those differences.
Now, results have started to come in for some of these races. For the House of Representatives District 3A, the DFL incumbent Rob Eklund is starting to beat Republican Thomas Manahan. Now, Eklund is winning by almost 67% of the vote. The Marine Corps veterans' goals at a state capitol are to create and retain jobs, supporting education and affordable health care. Another race where results are making their way is the House of Representatives District 6B. Now, DFL incumbent David Leesgard is winning with almost 55% of the vote. Republican candidate Julie Burria has roughly 54% of the vote. Now, Leesgard's agenda included bringing more business and jobs to the area, and he's a supporter of mining and says environmental stewardship can coexist. Now, over in the state Senate District 6, making up Virginia, Evelyn, Cotton, Hibbing in the Chisholm area, DFL incumbent David Tomasoni is winning with roughly 50% of the vote. 27% of the precincts are reporting that he's beating Republican candidate Joe Morin, who has 41% of the vote. Now, Tomasoni has been in politics since 1992 and is focused on mining, economic development, and supporting seniors and veterans. Now, other races we're keeping an eye on tonight are the state Senate District 7, where DFL incumbent Eric Simonson did not make it past the primary race, where he was defeated by DFLer Jen McEwen. Also, Republican Sandy Lehman is retiring this year, meaning the House of Representatives seat for District 5B will have a newcomer. Tony, Kristen, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Emma. Certainly a lot of seats to follow there, 201, Emma mentioned. Joining us now to break down what we've seen so far is Tony Sertich. He's been with us all night. Thanks again for joining us, Tony.
Absolutely. And Tony, we've seen much of the Northland go red, at least in national politics. We saw that back in 2016 with President Trump, then candidate Trump. But the Northland has stayed blue for local politics. What do you think we'll keep seeing here as the night goes on?
Well, certainly in Duluth, it's going to be a strong night for DFLers, but outside of Duluth and the rest of the region, we're seeing things tighten up on the local level, on the Senate and the House members. We're seeing some coin flips here. And so when you're talking about the balance of the state legislature and all those important issues, the DFL can't afford to lose any of their current Senate or House seats in our region and hope to maintain or even flip the Senate at the state level.
Yeah, and Tony, on the note of split votes, we've seen a little of that happening, at least in Duluth. We saw more progressive Democrat and Jen McEwen oust incumbent DFL Senator Eric Simonson in the primary back in August. He's a little bit more of that traditional labor DFLer that we've seen so often up here in this region. Do you think we could see that start to trickle up to the range, more of that progressive Democratic feel?
Well, not at this point. I mean, it really looks like the Democrats who've traditionally done well on the Iron Range and in the other parts of our region are really seeing their numbers tighten tonight and almost down to a coin flip. And so I'm watching closely to see what happens there. I think a lot of that has to do with Pete Stauber. Pete Stauber has a lot of good ground game, and I think he's brought that to the region, which is really helping push folks over to the Republican side.
So, Tony, if we do start to see some more of these progressive DFLers be elected to office, we saw Tom Bach ousted as a majority leader from Susan Kent. A lot of DFLers were concerned about that move due to issues that are important to them in the northern part of the state. So what would that mean for this region?
Well, it's going to be down to who's in control. If the Senate flips to Democrat and Tom Bach and Dave Tomasoni and a few other Iron Range legislators are there, and it's a really tight margin, they're going to have a lot of say on what goes on with the Senate DFL being a majority. But at the same time, we're seeing a lot of focus on the suburbs. And once again, the numbers, right? There's more people in the Twin Cities than there are in northeastern Minnesota. So they're really going to drive a lot more of the agenda, regardless of who's in charge down there.
No shortage of unique storylines to talk about politically in Minnesota. Thanks, Tony. We'll be checking in with you in just a few more minutes to talk about the presidential race and how the unique concept of split votes is becoming familiar on the Iron Range. And speaking of that presidential race, let's take a quick look at how it is panning out. As we look at the popular vote, President Trump has 51% of the current vote, with about 57% of precincts reporting. That equates to about a 3 million vote lead. And if we look at the electoral votes, Joe Biden has 209 to Trump's 112. That's according to the AP.
Still to come on Live Local CBS3, the pandemic saw a record-breaking amount of people voting by mail. However, many still voted in person. We'll check and see how the in-person process worked in Duluth, coming up next.
Well, it was warmer than normal today and likely will be again tomorrow. In just a few minutes, we'll take a closer look at this map and see who cracked the 70s and who has a chance of doing it again for the next couple of days.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, right here.
Weekdays at 3 on CBS3.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. Whether you're getting them through the winter season, mastering those retrieval skills season, or wondering who takes care of who season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it, because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Warm up at Perkins with our new pot roast specials, featuring our mouth-watering pot roast stroganoff, sizzling fajita breakfast quesadilla, savory pot roast melt, and more. Home-style pot roast favorites, available now for a limited time at a Perkins near you, and always served safely, whether you dine in, order online, or get it to go. Nothing sweetens the season like a fresh-baked pie from Perkins Holiday Bake Shop. Reserve yours today. Order now at PerkinsToGo.com.
St. Anne's Assisted Living, here when you needed us before, here when you need us now. We're open for business. Call to schedule your personal tour now. 218-727-8831.
For months, we've all done our best to stay safe. But to remain safe in the long run, it's up to us all to take actions that don't just slow the spread of COVID, but collectively overcome it. Like getting a test if you have any symptoms, answering if your health department calls, and wearing a mask in public spaces. We all want to regain what we love in life. To get there, we all need to go forward and do our part.
The Ski Hut is fully stocked with all of the downhill, cross-country, and snowboard gear and clothing you'll need this year. The Ski Hut has a huge selection of kids' skis and snowboards, featuring our season-long junior lease programs. Ski and snowboard gear will be in high demand this year, so don't miss out. Get to the Ski Hut today. We are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 7, Saturday, 9 to 5, and Sunday, 11 to 5. No appointments needed. Get to the Ski Hut for all your winter gear.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Caitlin Moffitt this morning.
And the below average trend
Thanks so much for joining us. So wake up with us starting at 5 a.m.
Watch Caitlin and Jenna in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m. on CBS3.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, right here.
Weekdays at 3 on CBS3.
Welcome back. We do have tons of political coverage still to get to yet tonight.
Yeah, the night is young
Very young.
in the world of politics, that's for sure. But first, let's head over to Dave for a quick look at the weather. Dave, we saw John Cardinelli in Baxter, Minnesota on a patio looking very comfortable. What a beautiful day.
Yeah, a lot of towns pushed into the 70s. Duluth got pretty close to the record high temp. Didn't quite get there, but Ashland did beat the record by a degree. So let's take a look at the range of high temps we did achieve today. And we made it to 70 in International Falls and Hibbing, Hermantown as well, and even down on Park Point. 73 in Superior is pretty impressive. 70 Moose Lake, 72 for Silver Bay, and there's the prize winner, 75 degrees in Ashland. But even in Ironwood, 72 is pretty decent as well. For the next couple of days, temperatures like this are possible. We won't fall back to reality perhaps until Monday or so. So warm spell will continue. Dry spell may not last quite as long. We'll tell you when our next rain chance is coming in just a bit. But here's a quick look at today's almanac. Then the normal's only 43. So that Hermantown high of 70 sure beat that by a good chunk. Many votes if we're going to keep the election theme going here. Well, here's what's going on right now at the airport. It's 50. West wind's going 8 miles per hour. Air pressure still staying pretty steady around the 1,007, 1,008 millibar level here. And that's because of two persistent high pressure systems that are going to keep us on the sunny side perhaps through Friday. Saturday's the next day where it might start to cloud up just a little bit. But rain may hold off until Sunday. Quick look at current temps show that Watersmeet's got a little bit of a cold spell going on there, dropping into the 30s according to the sensor there, but still in the upper 50s in Ironwood, upper 40s in Ashland, a little upper 30s in Solon Springs at the airport, and 49 degrees in Superior, 39 for Moose Lake, 34 Silver Bay, down into the 30s on the Vermilion Range, and 33 in Hibbing, 34 for International Falls. Low temps, they likely will be in the lower 30s around our region. And with the high pressure systems in place, it's hard to find a cloud in our sky. And that's a trend that will continue tomorrow and on through Friday again because of the twin highs making things sunny and warm around here. Saturday, this approaching low pressure system will start to cloud us up, but the warm spell likely will last until Sunday. So what we're getting at here Sunday into Tuesday is this low will bring a rain shower chance on Sunday, a mix on Monday, and some snow flurries on Tuesday as temperatures fall back into the 30s. So this warm spell will be replaced by a cold snap in just a matter of a week or so. Tonight in Minnesota, low temps I think should go from 30 to 40, partly cloudy sky. Wisconsin, Michigan, low temps 35 to 38 with a partly cloudy sky. And then tomorrow should be straight up sunny in Wisconsin and Michigan, high temps lower 60s. And in Minnesota, the range should go about 59 to 63 for most towns. And don't be too surprised if a couple of places push it towards 70 again, because that warm spell and the sunny period sticks around through Friday. But if we're going to be near 60 through perhaps Sunday, take a look at Tuesday. We fall back to 32, which in turn will be cooler than normal after this long warm spell.
Thanks, Dave. Let's return to our political coverage now. We have several more races to get to tonight.
We'll start with the Senate race between Republican Jason Lewis and Democratic incumbent Tina Smith. Right now, we're seeing Tina Smith leading with 53%, Jason Lewis at 39%, and Kevin O'Connor at 6%.
And now turning our attention a little bit more locally to the St. Louis County Board. In District 3, it's Ashley Grimm squaring off against Joe McCord. Right now, Ashley Grimm has a 56% lead to Joe McCord's 44%.
And in District 5, it's Tanny Sundbaum against Keith Musoff. Keith Musoff is holding 51% to a close 49% coming in for Tanny Sundbaum.
Well, historic numbers voted early due to the pandemic this year. The in-person voting process in Duluth, at least tonight, went off without a hitch. That's according to city officials who put strict COVID-19 safety measures in place today. Voters had to wear masks and stand on designated marked spots that were 6 feet away from one another and the judges. Plexiglass barriers are in place throughout the rooms as well. Hand sanitizer stations are there as well, and pens were sanitized after each use. Director of Administrative Services Chelsea Helmer says so far everything went smoothly today. One thing they found interesting is the number of people registering to vote for the first time this year, making the voter turnout astronomical.
Meanwhile, rural polling places also saw some heavy voter turnout today. Our reporter who voted here at Thompson Town Hall in Esco today waited an hour to cast their ballot. That was around 8:20 this morning. Lines grew even longer this afternoon. Our reporter says in past election years, they typically waited about 20 minutes to vote in Esco.
Make sure you stick around. We're unpacking more campaign 2020 results right after the break, as well as sitting down with our political analyst, Tony Surdich.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
It's the Veterans Day sale at Home Furniture. Everything is on sale. Plus, take an extra 10% off sale prices on any purchase with 0 down, no interest financing until 2022 and free no contact shipping on orders $4.99 or more. The Veterans Day sale, now at Home Furniture.
Real steel. Find yours. And find what fuels you. Not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Pick up at over 9,000 local steel dealers. Find yours at steeldealers.com.
I chose Itasca because it's close to home and it was a good, affordable opportunity. I came from a really small town and I wasn't ready to go to a big college. The 2 years that I had at Itasca really made me ready to get my foot in the door and step into a 4-year college. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do when I came here. The psychology teachers helped me find my career path. In taking the first steps to go to college, Itasca Community College helps you with that every step of the way. It's a great school that has affordable, excellent education that sets you up for the future.
Hi, I'm Stephen Ray. At Miners National Bank, we offer local originating, local processing, local closing, and local servicing. For your next mortgage, apply now. minersmortgage.com.
Miners National Bank of Evelyn, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
What do you get when you add care from Essentia Health and coverage from UCare? Essentia Care, now available for a more affordable price. Essentia Care's Medicare Advantage plans have premiums that start at $0 per month in select counties. You'll be able to see your Essentia Health provider at our 15 hospitals and 71 clinics. Plus, Essentia Care plans allow you the freedom to see any provider who accepts Medicare. Compare and shop plans at ucare.org/EssentiaCare.
During the Veterans Day sale at Home Sleep Express, get an extra 10% off sale prices on any Thomas Cole, Luxuria, or Heirloom mattress. Free shipping plus financing with 0 down and no interest until 2022. This copper-infused queen memory foam mattress is just $8.99. The Veterans Day sale at Home Sleep Express.
Fond du Lac Casino is hiring. Apply today.
Classic Rock KQ is once again the Northland's #1 radio station. The KQ Morning Show, the most listened to radio program in the Northland. The KQ Train Wreck, the Northland's #1 afternoon show. Thank you for making us the Northland's #1 radio station. 95 KQDS.
Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS3.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at where things are at in the presidential race. We see President Trump holding on to that about 2 million popular vote lead. However, he is trailing in the electoral vote column, 209 to 118. However, President Trump is currently leading in several key battleground states. That includes Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Florida, and Texas as well. Welcome back into CBS3 Special Election Night coverage. We are joined again with Tony Surdich, who's breaking down all the races for us tonight. Tony, we're switching gears tonight to the national picture when it comes to the presidential race. What are your thoughts on how President Trump is performing in a region that voted for him in 2016, the 8th District?
He seems like he's performing just as well or maybe even a little better in our region, though that's being discounted because in the metro area, Biden is performing even that much better. And some of those are the first numbers to come in. So I see if folks are kind of tracking Minnesota, they're going to see the numbers narrow, but it certainly looks like Biden's probably going to squeak it out in Minnesota if all things stay equal.
Now, Tony, we heard candidates on both sides really touting the Iron Range and what they say they will do for the area. How has the president's track record here and his strong ties to incumbent Congressman Pete Stauber for the 8th District impacted tonight's race for the 8th?
Well, I think Congressman Stauber's ground game has really helped Donald Trump in this region because he's just put a lot of time and effort and his volunteers into the region. And Trump is really trying to turn votes in our rural region. The challenge he's having, though, is he's turning a few number of votes, but there are just so many more people in the metro area, in the Twin Cities, that if they turn a few of those blue, that outnumbers the gains that they could get up here in northeastern Minnesota.
And Tony, just lastly, real quickly, I'm sort of looking at some numbers here. We saw both candidates, President Trump and Joe Biden, just put a ton of focus on this state. So far, it looks like Joe Biden is just retaining that Democratic control in this state that we've seen in presidential elections since 1972. Why do you think that is? Why wasn't the president able to move the dial here? 15 seconds.
Well, I think he focused a lot in northeastern Minnesota where there are less votes, and if he spent a little more time in the Twin Cities and the suburbs, that might have helped his chances.
All right, Tony, we will be checking in with you at the end of the show for a quick wrap-up of tonight's election. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, we'll have continued team coverage of the 8th District race as we take a look at Quinn Nystrom's watch party live next.
Eye on Mining is brought to you by Iron Mining Association, Range Regional Airport, and Miners National Bank of Evelyn.
Imagine building your Range Regional Airport without the mining industry. Now, imagine air travel without mining. We couldn't imagine that either. Welcome to Range Regional Airport, serving and supporting the Iron Range.
New Duluth Auto is the Duluth used car dealer. We have plenty of makes and models to choose from. Nissan, Honda, Toyota, and we even carry multiple options for our most popular vehicle, the Subaru Forester. Large cargo space, all-wheel drive, what's not to love? All of our vehicles are priced under $20,000. To make these deals even sweeter, there is a 1 to 5 year warranty included on all vehicles. Give us a call, stop by, or view our inventory online at newduluthauto.net. Because here at New Duluth Auto, we are your Duluth used car dealer.
Medicare isn't everyone's favorite thing to shop for, but with UCare, it might be worth a browse because right now, UCare is offering a $0 premium plan statewide. And unlike original Medicare, you also get prescription drugs, doctor visits, dental, hearing, and glasses. Fire off any questions to a decomplicator today. Hey, it's what we're here for. UCare, people-powered health plans.
Searching for the right health insurance plan is like, well, searching for a needle in a haystack. You don't even know where to begin. What?
Oh, here's another.
No.
Slightly lower deductible, and you can stay in your network. Plus, you qualify for financial help.
Okay, then.
At MNsure, you can compare plans, qualify for financial help, even get free assistance virtually or over the phone. When it comes to health insurance, be sure with MNsure.org.
Hello, I'm Steve Little with Bath Planet. For the month of November, we are offering free upgrades to a premium wall system for all your bath and shower purchases. All of our products are backed by the Good Housekeeping seal of approval and come with a lifetime warranty. You can still get one of our great financing options for low monthly payments or 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments till 2022. This offer ends November 30th, so call us today or go online to book your appointment. Bath Planet, out of this world service and down to earth price.
This generation of engineers have arrived on the Iron Range.
Classes are looking a little bit different this year at
Minnesota. This time, it's the president's son hoping to win.
Saving a man in the fire. The details tonight.
Coming up, we're unpacking the vice president's campaign.
Gilbert in Virginia.
Coming up tonight, we hear from Wisconsin voters.
Tomorrow, I think it's going to be cooler than normal.
To stay up to date with the news and weather that impacts you and your community.
Imagine building your Range Regional Airport without the mining industry. Now, imagine air travel without mining.
We couldn't imagine that either. Welcome to Range Regional Airport, serving and supporting the Iron Range.
Welcome back into CBS 3's election coverage on this November 3rd. Here's a quick look at where Minnesota's 8th congressional district race stands. We have Republican incumbent Pete Stauber clinging to about a 4% lead over Democratic challenger Quinn Nystrom. Both are outpacing Judith Schwartzbacher, who's only garnered about 6% of the vote so far.
We're covering the 8th district race live with our CBS 3 team. Currently, John Cardinelli is live from the Quinn Nystrom watch party. John, certainly a different type of atmosphere than what we're used to seeing at an election party. What's the vibe there?
Kristen and Tony, it's definitely not your typical watch party. We've since moved inside. At the top of the show, we interviewed Quinn outside, but you can see in here it's just kind of empty. People trying to stay distanced currently. Everyone was given a temperature check here. We're told only 20 people are allowed here, so it's just definitely a much different vibe than you would expect. Usually on these election nights, it's always, loud and lively, but it's much more mellow here. There was some cheering earlier on in the night as some of the numbers were coming in and it appeared the race was narrowing in, but other than that, definitely a very mellow night, and we'll continue to cover this 8th congressional district race. For now, back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Meanwhile, incumbent Pete Stauber has held the 8th district seat since 2018 when he defeated his Democratic opponent Joe Radinovich by less than 5 percentage points. He is trying to be the first Republican reelected to the seat since the 1940s. The district historically has voted Democrat until the 2016 election when President Trump won by 16 points. The congressman has been running his campaign touting American jobs, mining, and strengthening the economy. Stauber's campaign released a statement yesterday saying during his 18-county tour, he saw an overwhelming amount of support for his efforts fighting for the people's way of life in the district. The statement said he and his team is optimistic that, quote, freedom and opportunity will prevail on election night. We'll be right back after the break.
CBS 3 closed captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health Pharmacies, keeping things safe, simple, and convenient through mail, local delivery, drive-through, and curbside pickup services.
If you hunt waterfowl, help stop the spread of aquatic invasive species. Clean off plants, animals, and mud from boats, trailers, waders, push poles, and decoy anchors when leaving the water. Drain your boat and decoys and leave plugs out while traveling. These steps are simple, and they help stop aquatic invasive species.
I'm Carrie Harris, owner of Diabetic and Comfort Shoes. We have been in business in the Northlands helping you with your everyday foot problems stemming from diabetes to plantar fasciitis for the past 17 years. Stop in and see the complete line of men's and women's shoes, from SAS to Allegria to Vionic, for those millions of people battling plantar fasciitis. And we still have a great selection of comfortable shoes for diabetics, Medicare and Minnesota healthcare approved. Remember, no foot problem is too big or too small. We'll find the way to your soul.
At Super One Foods, we go to great measures to deliver you with top quality meat every day. Try our 80% lean ground chuck for only $2.69 a pound and get boneless pork shoulder roast for just $1.66 a pound. Plus, we provide the best of the best in fresh produce. Get fresh cantaloupe for just 66 cents a pound and get sweet tango apples for just $1.66 a pound. Through all that we do, we've got you in mind. Super One Foods, serving you lower prices and better choices.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. Hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
Season 2 is here, y'all. And yes, I am in an eye patch. How much much more, Kelly, can it
The
get?
Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS3.
Welcome back. Let's check in with some of our races real quick. Here's a look at the Minnesota Senate race where Tina Smith is being challenged by Republican Jason Lewis. The incumbent Democrat holds a 10% lead over Jason Lewis.
And let's take a quick look at Wisconsin's 7th congressional race. Republican Tom Tiffany is leading at 61% with Tricia Zunker at 39%. Let's do one final check-in with our political analyst, Tony Surdich. Tony, quite a night. What are your thoughts, final thoughts?
I think things are going to continue to get tight. If you're going to bed and you wake up in the morning, things are going to be very close all up and down. I think on the federal level, Democrats are going to do well in Minnesota. On the local level, things are going to be really tight, and we'll see what happens when folks wake up in the morning.
We appreciate you being with us tonight, Tony.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here in about a half hour.